Welcome to another episode of Comedy Wham Presents. With me, your host Valerie, and sometime kitty co-hosts Miss Purrington and Mookie are back at home. We're recording from the Fallout Theater podcast studio. Thank you, Fallout. ComedyWham.com is your place to go for features about all Austin comedy. In addition to podcasts, Comedy Wham brings you articles, album reviews, monthly show recommendations, our advice column, our listing of festivals from across the country and the world, our FPIA contest page, which that contest is started as of the time this episode drops, and we'll be tracking it like we always do. And my articles for the Austin Chronicle, the barbedwire.com, and the San Antonio Current about the Austin and Central Texas comedy scenes. Oh, I'll be editing that out.
Keep it in.
Already a troublemaker, I see. Our most popular feature is our events page for live comedy shows in Austin, Houston, and DFW, where 100% of the entries you see come from comics and producers. It's coming back. Click the Submit a Show button from the top of the homepage or events page to fill out the survey to get your show listed. It's free and easy. Tag us on your Instagram stories and we'll share your show promo to our followers. We also offer paid promo pushers on Instagram. Speaking of events, come check out my new passion project. Well, it's not new. It's a year old as of May 2026. Improv Vintage. You bring a vintage item and watch it come to life in a fully improvised performance inspired by your vintage item. Want to support these resources we provide? You can donate to Comedy Wham on Venmo or Patreon. Click the Support CW icon on our homepage to see the ways you can help us. Our podcast was launched in 2016 to bring you funny people and their stories. As a fan, I like to delve into a comic's background and motivations, and will usually take a detour along the way. Consider the interview a way for you to get to know the folks that make the Austin comedy scene one of the best in the country. If you like this podcast, please rate and review us. Today, we are talking to a Philadelphia native who is a recent transplant to Austin, and she's been making waves since she got here. I think, less than a year.
I've actually been here 2 years now.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
No, I had to calculate it myself.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I've seen her open for Sophie Buttle, and she's been touring with Sophie. She just got back from a great weekend of opening for her, and she just opened for Julie Kim at Cap City. And now you get to meet her. You've probably already met her. I'm just behind the times. Comedy Wham presents our guest, Gretchen Dietz.
Yay, thank you so much for having me.
Yes, of course.
I've been looking forward to this
for
quite some time.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Here we are.
Yes, here we are. We'll start with my icebreaker right off the bat.
Oh.
One word to describe your past.
Wow. It sounds cliche, but I would say creative. I've just always been doing some sort of creative outlet or activity, and I've always been a writer, and coming out of Philly, I was always going to my friends' shows, like to see their bands or like listening to their music and giving them feedback, or like I was a bartender and I was like creating drinks. So I'm just a creative person through and through. I just love the arts. So creative would be my word.
Okay, yeah, seems very apropos. So grew up, raised, born in Philadelphia or the area?
The area.
Okay.
Because I can hear people screaming if I say that, because Philly people are very tribal.
Yeah.
I grew up in a small town about 90 minutes outside Philly.
Okay.
I'd have to give you coordinates, because you'd be like, huh? So, and I would kind of mention nearby cities when I was here in Texas, and people were like, what? And I was like, small town, real small town. But after college, I was like, oh, I want to move to Philly because I know I need to be in like a big city where people are like doing more things and just be around more art stuff. I felt like my town or small town life wasn't going to really suit me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you were only 90 minutes away, so from time to time you could go into Philly and kind of see what big city life was like?
Somewhat, I guess. I mean, my parents like to travel, so we did get to like go on vacation to different countries, and occasionally there'd be like field trips to like Philly or New York or DC. But you know how sometimes, even though the distance isn't far, the culture and the mindset really creates like a boundary.
Yeah.
And it's like, if all you see is like farmland and it's like an hour to anything worth doing, it just seems like there's not a lot of activity, you know? So it really didn't, I know it's not the same as some folks that grew up like in an isolated Midwest or Appalachia where you're really insular. It wasn't like that, but it was a real small town life. And I was like, I just felt like as a kid, even like I'm meant to be a city person. I would go visit family in Chicago a lot and I loved it.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I know that I want to be doing more things around like more interesting people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How old were you when you realized that you had this creative bent to yourself?
Probably forever.
Yeah.
Since I was always like writing when I was a little kid, writing, reading, constantly drawing, all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
Did you ever perform?
No. Which it's really wild that I do comedy. Sometimes I'm still like, this is insane because I was very shy. So like I would even be like shy to like answer the phone. Like I was really quiet. I never did any plays. I remember I was like, when I was a kid, I was the best speller. I'm like just really, really good at spelling and like grammar. Yes, similar vibe.
Fifth grade spelling bee champion at my elementary school.
Incredible.
Didn't go far though.
I did not even have the chops. I just had like stage fright on the first word and like spelled it wrong and was like, I don't know what happened, and just like left. Yeah, I just had no inkling or desire to do the play or anything.
Yeah.
I was just like, that looks terrible. But I was always a writer and always like doing stuff. But it wasn't until much later in life when I was bartending in Philly that I was bartending with a bunch of dudes at a gin distillery, very very high-octane bro cocktail world. And they were like, you're funny, you should try comedy. And I was like, what? And they were like, you should go to an open mic. And I was like, I don't know what that is. I was like, I don't know what you're saying to me. We have to mop. I was like, we have to polish 300 pieces of glassware. You guys don't, I'm like, you guys don't even do, I'm going to mop. And I was just like, but I didn't even know like what that meant.
Yeah.
And this is me being like already like 30 years old, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But then I thought about it a little more and I was like, I did have jokes written in my phone or just funny observations of life. And I was like, and I always loved comedy like as a fan.
Okay.
So I was like, what if I just tried it? Like, what if I just went and made myself try it? And, like, I could just read my jokes out of my notebook. And, like, what do I have to lose, really?
Yeah.
And it was very terrifying. But I signed up at, like, a little bar in Philly called Ortlieb's, just an open mic night. And I remember I wrote my first name, and they said, what's your last name? And I was like, let's not worry about that in case this doesn't go well. I just had, like, zero...
So charming.
Zero confidence, zero expectations. But I just went up and I remember like my hands were shaking a little and I was holding my notebook and I just read like kind of something funny about the hair salon, just kind of every day. And people laughed and I just like kept reading, people kept laughing. And I was like, oh, I really like this and I want to do this more.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of became like such a regular thing. And I was like, oh, I want to do this all the time.
Wow.
Which I feel like comedy, stand-up comedy is a pretty like weird thing to do. And I feel like a lot of people are like afraid to try it because public speaking is like terrifying to the average person.
Yeah.
But I feel that once you do try it, it's kind of an extreme thing to do to where people are either like, oh, I love that, or like, oh God, never again. But then I feel like if you love it, it's so uniquely weird that like you generally like really love it.
Yeah.
And I really love it. Yeah. So it's been, let's see, like about 4.5 years I've been doing comedy now.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, as a writer, you've already figured out the hardest things, how to put combinations of words together for the reader or the listener to react in the way that you want them to react.
True. I hadn't really thought about.
Yeah.
When I was in the open mic Philly world, I made some friends, which was great. And my friend Eddie, I remember we were watching people and he said one of the older guys in Philly was like, comedians are always two types. It's a writer learning how to perform or a performer learning how to write. And I thought that's pretty true and like kind of a good rubric for looking at it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I'll watch and be like, you know, this person has great material, but it's like, you know, work on your stage presence, right?
Yeah.
And then on the other hand, sometimes you'll get someone that's just running on charisma and they're like, what the hell is up, guys? And you're like, yeah, people are laughing, but do you have anything to say, really? So I thought, oh, well, and if that's a way of looking at this, then I'm a writer learning how to perform. Because I know I have interesting things to say, and I know I have tons of writing, but I'll need to figure out how to be a fun performer to see. And that will be an interesting challenge. And I finally feel like I'm starting to catch my stride there. Which is, it's fun. It's really rewarding to, you know, want to do something and put some work in and see the growth. It's really cool.
Yeah. And 4 years in, if you're opening for some pretty serious headliners, it's pretty nice.
Yeah, thanks.
It's a great accomplishment. I want to go back in time just on a couple of things. One is one of my questions that I like to ask is what your relationship to comedy was growing up. And you mentioned that you liked comedy. Were you like pursuing watching a lot of comedy or seeing comedy? What is it that growing up you remember being funny in your life?
I feel like I would see like like Richard Pryor and like Seinfeld and like all the great big, like, you know, like the big household name people I would see, but I think there was like a disconnect where like I would see that and be like, that looks like the coolest thing you could ever do, but that doesn't even look like remotely like a thing I could do. Like it just seemed, if you see like a famous person you've never met doing comedy in an arena, or not yet then, but like a massive theater, and you're just like, oh, I'm just like a person with a notebook. So I don't think I even would like at that point like dared to dream that I could ever even do that, and I'm not like from a showbiz family where you would even think to do that, but I liked it. I thought it was like fascinating and fun and funny. I think in high school I was like a pretty serious nerd, and I would like watch The Daily Show a lot, and I would watch like SNL, and I would watch Late Night and like the monologues, and be like, oh, that's like really interesting. So I kind of like nerded out that way. But yeah, I mean, there isn't really like comedy in small towns, so I wasn't really like in that world.
Well, sometimes, and I'll just probe a little bit further, because sometimes if somebody like just had no concept of comedy growing up, really, like, what was funny about your family? Too, because, you know, if your parents are goofballs, like, I would say your comedy is dry, and I think that's where you get the funny. So is there something like about your family dynamic that was like that you think about and you're already like laughing? So you're already imagining like your interactions with your family, and were they funny? And that may have been a subtle influence.
Well, they're certainly dysfunctional. And I think sometimes people will be like, what makes someone be a comedian? And I'm like, problems, like dysfunction or problems in your family seems to be the common thread. There can be really extreme differences in how that's lived for people, but that's generally, I mean, my family was very strict, very old school Catholic, like perfectionist, no room for error, just like manners, just pretty stifling. So I mean, it made me a really great student. And a great writer. But there wasn't a lot of room to really wiggle around or move. But I do sometimes laugh because I talk to so many of the other comedians I'm friends with in Philly are also Catholic, because everyone's like Irish Italian, and it's just like that region. And I'm like, dude, the joke structure from us, like from being told to like write out things in order and like pray the rosary or whatever. I'm like, dude, these structures are tight. They go in order. We are in line. We did our homework right. So to some degree, it's like it is good to reflect on where you come from because it did kind of install the main buttons and shape, how you do things.
Yeah.
I'm happy to say I've grown and I'm flowing and moving in my own ways that are, I barely recognize myself. But yeah, I think I would describe it as pretty strict and conventional, which is at odds for someone whose inclinations are not to be that way.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because my parents like the arts and they would take us to like plays and dance and music. But I think if you actually want to do it for yourself, they see that as like a risk that doesn't fit their worldview and like should not be really done. And eventually you just have to live your own life.
Yeah.
But the main thing I did in my quest of my growing up and trying to please my parents was they're very into academics. So I got my bachelor's degree in English, then I got my master's degree in writing, and then I got my PhD.
I'm talking to a doctor?
Yes.
Wow.
I don't really bring it up in the comedy world.
Well, yeah.
Because people are like, why don't you tell? I'm like, well, it's not funny. And they're like, but it's you, and you can, and I'm like, it's just kind of like, it's an oddity, and it tends to make people feel weird. So I don't really like bring it up often or like flex it. But when some people are like, you're a really great writer, I'm like, well, I did go to college for like 10 years. I would hope it added up to something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got a full scholarship to Miami University of Ohio for their program in writing and rhetoric. So I did that, and they were like, this takes like 5 to 7 years. And I was like, I'm saying 4.5. We're going to get it done. And I like really pushed and got that done. But the other thing was while I was there, I realized like I went in thinking at this time, I'm going to be a professor. Because I'm like, I've always been good at school. I love reading. I love writing. I like this environment.
Standing in front of an audience?
Oh, I did start to really like teaching though. So maybe, I never thought about that, Valerie. Maybe that's where my first performing happened. The classroom. Yeah. Yeah, actually, that was the most rewarding part. Definitely wasn't like being alone in the library for hours. It was definitely exchanging ideas with people in real time, which is now what I do, but in an extra fun way. Yeah, thanks for piecing that together. But yeah, anyway, like, long story short, I was just like, I don't want to be a professor. This world is very limited, and I won't be happy here writing articles for only 10 people in this little niche area to read.
Yeah.
I just can't imagine spending my days doing this.
Yeah.
But I'm going to get this degree and, like, get the heck out of here. Now, they don't like that because they want you to come out of the program and be placed in an excellent university so they can list out how well everyone does.
Yeah.
So that was a little bit taboo. But I was like, no, I did this and I finished my project and I'm going to get the, proof, diploma, whatever, degree. Publish that, put it in the library, and then I'm out of here. And I had no idea what I wanted to do. I was just like, I don't know what I want to do, but like I want to go home and figure out what I'm gonna do next.
Yeah.
So, and then home I defined as basically Philly because I'd already kind of established my adult life there and had friends that I really wanted to be around.
Yeah.
So I went back there and I was bartending, and then that's when I got into open mic comedy.
So your undergrad to PhD were all at Miami?
No, my undergrad, I went to a small college called DeSales University. It's in Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania, which is between Philly and New York. It's a small Catholic liberal arts college. I played basketball the first year there, and then I stopped because I wanted to do creative stuff and like make films with people and write and be in creative writing club and run the newspaper, and I had too many.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, so I did that, and then my master's degree I did Westchester University of PA, which is like, Westchester is suburbs of Philly. Shane Gillis went there, Joe Biden went there.
Oh, wow.
A lot of the greats. That was my favorite location of schools because Philly suburbs are so beautiful. And the vibes are like friendly. So I kind of have hopped around, but But moving to Texas was huge because I hadn't really lived in another region of the country. And even though I became pretty like ambitious with, well, I guess I lived in Ohio, but that's not anything like here. Yeah. So this was like really a big transition. Yeah. But I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. We're gonna take an early break because we're gonna do this little prompt game.
Oh.
And then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about what led you up to the decision to move to Austin, and then what it's been like for you moving to Austin and experiencing the Austin comedy scene.
Great.
So where should we begin? Is this Esther Perel is this like world famous psychiatrist, psychologist. Can never get it straight. And these are just prompts. So you're going to point to one of these two cards, and I'll read that one to you to answer. After you read the other one to me to answer.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, so point to one of these two.
Okay, that's fun.
Okay. So you read that one to me to answer, and then we'll trade.
A time I was mean to someone.
Well, this one's easy to answer.
That's funny.
So many people that I've been mean to that in hindsight I wish I hadn't been mean to. But it's all like family stuff. Like I wish I hadn't been mean to my parents when I was, an emo teenager, or even as an adult when I was,
An emo adult.
An emo adult.
Yeah.
Going through things that I thought were the end of the world, and they weren't. In hindsight, I've been mean to my kid, and, he's pretty opinionated, so he puts me in my place. I can't really get away with it with him. Yeah, and even I don't know that I've ever said this out loud, but I think I was even mean to my ex-husband. So yeah, I think I was probably not the easiest person to.
In a feminist moment, I'm like, well, what did he say?
Yeah, that's long ago. We don't need to go there.
How old is your son?
He is 19.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep. He's about to join a new decade, which is kind of crazy to me. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty wild. So, yeah. So sorry, all of those people that I was mean to.
Oh.
All right, Gretchen, yours. Oh, this one should be fun. A part of myself I need to break up with is...
Oh, wow. Well,
yeah, that's heavy.
There's many. A part of myself I need to break up with, which I am doing a good job at, is the perfectionist. I used to have such debilitating perfectionism. Like, everything had to be perfect, or I was like... if I made a mistake, I was like, this is like a fatal flaw. This is like inexcusable.
Yeah.
And it's not any way that someone can live. It's just not realistic.
Yeah.
And comedy is really the only thing that was able to break me out of that. And I was just kind of laughing to myself thinking about this earlier today, actually, because I was like, even when I started comedy, I'd like write out the jokes in the right order, which was arbitrarily decided by myself.
Yeah.
In order, and I would practice for time, and I'd make sure it was like the right amount of time. Because if they were like, you're doing 8 minutes, I would like practice in front of my mirror and like time myself, like, and be like, I would know like exactly.
Yeah.
And then I was like laughing now because I'm like, now I just go around town and I don't even know how long I'm doing, and I'm just yapping until I see the light, and I go, and then I wrap it up, and I go, if I make mistakes now, I go, yeah, of course I made mistakes. It's speech. It's imperfect. It's live.
Yeah.
Of course. And what a joy to make mistakes in real time with real people, because they don't even want to see a perfect.
Yeah.
They don't want to see a perfect recitation.
Right.
This is not a Churchill address.
Yeah.
they want to be in the room with me, and I want to be with them.
Yeah.
So I was laughing because I kind of flubbed like a line or stuttered a little on a bit last night. But I was like, who cares? Like, people love the show, and we had a great time. And I was like, I love this new version.
Yeah.
So that perfectionist part of myself I'm glad to see it go. Good riddance. And now there's probably some more parts that could be replaced or altered as well. That's a big one.
Yeah. So you did that first open mic in Philadelphia at the prompting of friends.
Yes.
Coworkers.
Sam, shout out Sam, who I still call after I have a great weekend. I'm like, hey, remember when you told me to try open mic comedy? And he's like, yeah, buddy. So, yeah.
And what was your, like, you got that immediate rush from it? Or you're just like, yeah, I like this. I want to keep trying it. How did you emotionally feel to finding this new creative outlet?
I think the overwhelming feeling from the first time was just like, oh, I can do this. This is something I can do. And I still felt very nervous initially the first couple times you do open mics because you're still not really sure of yourself. But the more you do it, the easier it gets. And now it's like hard to even imagine. It's like asking you to remember like when you learned to walk. You're like, I don't know. Like I'm sure I figured it out. Like it's just like breathing now. Yeah. But I wasn't like I killed. I'm the greatest ever. But I just remember being like, oh, I can do that. I liked it, and I'll do it again. Yeah. That's really it.
And that performance, that shyness. How did you feel? Conquering that. Or did it just not even register because you were enjoying what you were doing so much?
I think I found strength in the material because some people are like, well, what is going to happen when I go up there? And like, what if I can't like do it? But I remember thinking I have so much material that I can say because I've written so much and I have so many ideas. Yeah. And as long as my material is like interesting and enough, I'll be able to just fill the time with like being interesting. So like as long as my material is like my strength, I can't fail. Yeah. And then I just really like leaned into writing more and trying to figure out how to write jokes and figure out how to write jokes in my style. And I really was like the material will be my stable base that will allow me to like continue to try to do this. Yeah.
It's like your armor.
Yeah, yeah. But I really think jokes are armor too, because they're really a way of diffusing like the pain of life. Because you're just like zing, that actually didn't hit me, bang. Like something I've been reflecting on lately. I don't think I'll talk to anyone about either. But I've been realizing like I do use jokes to deflect pain, the pain of life, which I think is really an incredible mechanism, and it's really fun. But I also, I'm like, oh, you could limit yourself by trying to fit everything into a joke form, and some things might need to be explored in other ways. Yeah. So I do think I'd like to write a book separately about my life and kind of process in more long-form memoir style some things that are more nuanced than just like zing, zing, zing. But I mean, I think you've probably noticed many common themes you've talked to with like almost 400 comics on your podcast by now. But a lot of people, something is kind of, they're a misfit or something was weird in childhood, or they've got to kind of find a way to deal with the strangeness of life, and its humor is like a way to cope with it, but it's also such a joy to perform, and then the comedy industry itself is its own interesting beast as well. So it's interesting though, because when I started I was like material, and now I'm like I really just want to like be a great performer and give people a great show. And I just want to have so much fun doing it. And it's like, it's totally different now. Yeah. Have
you found, or was there any point where you kind of, the only way that I know how to describe this, what I'm trying to get at is, have you ever tried putting on somebody else's type or character or persona on stage just as a way of figuring out how you were going to be on stage? So take away the material, but like being an animated Atsuko style, or being a very like of course, we're gonna talk about Sophie.
Yeah.
Sophie's pretty much planted, and that's what she does, or just, being a crazy Casey Rocket type. Did you ever go through a phase like that where you're like, I'm going to see what that feels like and do it on stage, and like, I don't like that, and then repeat? Or were you always the Gretchen type?
The Gretchen, yeah. That's an interesting way to look at it. I think if I had more of an acting background, I might be inclined.
Oh.
But I don't.
Yeah.
And I would say I've always just been myself, but myself has been flourishing as I grow older and wiser. And then my act as well, in tandem with just who I am. But I would say when I started, I was maybe a little bit more monotone, deadpan, dry, and I've grown to become like a little bit more conversational and bubbly, because I've just come to see like you can just be who you are, and the more you can be who you are, the better everything goes.
Yeah.
And Sophie has been a huge influence for me on that, because the Philly comedy scene is very bro, very boy, and
Austin's not like that at all.
No. Well, it's funny when people are like, Austin's so bro. I'm like, there's more women on these lineups than in Philly. And some people will be like, oh, you don't like the Shane Gillis. I'm like, no, I love Shane Gillis. I think his comedy is hilarious. But I also think if that's the only brand or style, it's really limiting. And I just was talking to one of my friends, Amber. She's coming out of Philly. She moved to New York, but she's a kind of dry, deadpan, almost like pun-like joke writer. But she's a beast of a writer, and she just never really like got her dues in Philly. And then she moved to New York, and like Michael Che was like, "Yeah, open for me."
Wow.
And I was like, "Yeah." So like, we girls need to get the hell out of Philly. But, so. All of that to say, like, yes, I'm now like my true conversational self. Like, the way we're talking here is not so different than like how I talk on stage.
Yeah.
I don't really have any interest in putting like affectations or like a persona.
Yeah.
I don't like that at all. I like comics that are who they are. Like, I love to watch Maria Bamford.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Like, the comics I like are the comics who are not so different on stage and off. It's like, that's what they are. There isn't like a brand or like a persona. I don't care for that.
Yeah.
And then some of the people in Austin are like, oh, so you don't like the alt? And I'm like, no, of course I like creative stuff, but I guess I like a more grounded, realistic approach. And there's so many styles, but that's just kind of where I fall.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of more of a natural version of myself, but I've never tried to be anything other than that.
Yeah.
I'm not really interested in that.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's great to know who you are and who you're not. So, yeah. And it's good to figure that out. I mean, with 4 years under your belt, it's really good to figure that out early.
I think, but also, I don't want to sound like I'm bragging, but I've just always been such a true original. I've always been...
that moment I wish I had on video.
So I've always been very creative, and I've also always been like a person with like a strong sense of my own integrity.
Yeah.
Where like I don't do things out of line to the way I will do them. I'm the kind of person where like when I like get in my bed at night to go to sleep, I need to know like my actions are in accordance with my values, and like things are aligned.
Yeah.
And if I start to go out of bounds there, like if I compromise my morals in one area, I feel like everything will then crumble.
Yeah.
And so I just don't. And that's not to say I don't grow and test boundaries and put myself in novel situations and, kind of get shaked around a little bit. I love novelty and excitement, and I love fear to some degree. But I don't compromise myself. And that's always been true since I was a little kid. And I remember like maybe like I'm weird, but like I am who I am.
Yeah.
And that's me. Yeah. So yeah, I think about that even as I try or I'm working to do better in the industry, because people will give you all kinds of advice, and you got to decide what you want to take and what you don't. And, you know, there have been opportunities that have come my way where I'm like, that's a thing, but I don't think that's my thing. Or that doesn't sound like something I would do.
Yeah.
Or sometimes I'll run it by friends. I'll be like, yeah, so-and-so's saying, you know, I could go do this. And they're like, that's not you. And I'm like, yeah. So, yeah, I'm kind of like, maybe I won't be like an explosive overnight internet sensation with billions of views online. But like, maybe if I just keep at it and keep opportunities keep coming to me so exponentially better than I could have imagined, that I'm like, I think we'll just stay the course here. And people's paths are so different, but I'm like, the only path I can do is my own. It's so weird. It's uniquely mine. But so you probably won't catch me doing anything super crazy. But hopefully in a few years I'll be an even, you know, more polished, powerful, interesting version of myself. That would be the best I could hope for.
Yeah. And writing, of course.
Yes, and always. With a memoir as well.
And with a memoir, yes.
The book. I was just looking, I'm like, Chelsea Handler's written like 6 or 10 books. Yeah. Surely I can write one. I'm like, I've already written a few that I wasn't proud of. Wouldn't it be nice to write a book I like?
Yeah.
So I was talking to my friend on the phone. I'm like, I should just write it this summer by the pool. He goes, you're like Elle Woods and Legally Blonde. I'm like, what? Like, it's hard? I was like, it's not that hard. I bet I can do it this summer. So, you know, it's fun. I feel like there's so much.
Yeah.
I don't like to talk to people who are like, oh, it's like hard to like make it in comedy. I'm like, there's so many opportunities. You've just got to keep finding them, or find the right lane or channel where they're opening up for you.
Yeah. I do. I mean, sometimes when I'm talking to a comic, you know, we go into some of the negative, you know, oh, you know, this passed me up or that passed me up, and it's like, yeah, but there's no rule book to this profession.
Totally.
And, you know, some of the best have been turned down for things, and they just figure it out how to get to where they're at despite the rejections. And you have to just learn to live with not only the failures but with the successes. And the successes are not going to be the same for you as they are for somebody sitting next to you at the open mic.
Totally.
And sometimes there's some preferential treatment that happens by bookers
all the time.
Yeah,
that's so interesting. Sometimes people are like, well, why did so-and-so get... I go, I don't know. Like, why does anyone get anything? Yeah. And then moving to Austin and being more in the industry than before, I see when someone's like, that's not fair. I go, yeah, none of it's fair. Yeah. It's the entertainment business. It runs on likability and vibes. Mm-hmm. Like, nothing is fair. Nothing makes sense. It's people hanging out and hooking each other up with stuff. Yeah. And, like, there's no template. There's no rhyme or reason to why things happen. Yeah. But if you're having a good time, keep on going. Yeah. But I've come to like rejection, because I find when you get rejected, a lot of times it's clarifying. Because there are things I've gotten rejected for, and then later I'm like, yeah, I wasn't supposed to be at that. Yeah. That wouldn't have even, or I get rejected from something and then I get a better thing. And it's like, I was talking to Sophie about this too, and she's like, I love to get no's. I try to get a few no's per week, because that means I'm really putting things out there. And I was listening to like Mark Norman on a podcast. He's like, I get rejected from like hundreds of things. I've never gotten cast in one acting thing. And you're like, people that are like high achievers in this business that are really doing things, they're getting massive accolades and opportunities. They're also like experiencing massive rejection, because there's a volume of work going out constantly. And I was like, time to get a thick skin if you want to do anything in this business. And it's very freeing, because I don't really take rejection that personally anymore in comedy. I'm like, you just keep putting things out, and then some kicks back and some doesn't. I do take rejection very personally in my personal life. That one I haven't been able to. That I can't handle. So maybe I'll get there eventually. If I like ask someone on a date and they say no, I'm like, well, this is devastating on a level that we've unprecedented. You don't want to spend even an hour with me, so that's really upsetting. So we'll have to work on that. I am sensitive that way, but no longer sensitive to rejections of business emails. Yeah. Life's too short for that.
Yeah. That's funny. I got a small taste of that and that philosophy too, because I do improv. Cool. I did do stand-up for a bit, but after the pandemic, stand-up became very difficult for me to do because with such an influx of comics that came into the scene, a person like me who is older, different worldview, different way of approaching life, I just didn't feel like anybody was interested in hearing that, which is very self-dismissive, but it was it opened up the idea of, well, I still want to be on a stage. Let me go take improv classes. I love improv now.
What do you love about it?
I think one of the reasons I didn't love stand-up, because I was an older person starting stand-up, it's it's just all me and feeling like, oh, everybody hates what I'm saying, and just a lot of just putting myself down. And with improv, it's a group effort. So it's easier to hide than it is when you're doing, a set in front of people. And it's just goofy. And you don't have to write for it. You have to practice certain skills to be good on stage, but you don't have to necessarily write the perfect order of words together to put together. And I came up with this concept last year that's been so much fun to I get because I have such a producer-heavy, desire in my life. So I, get to use that muscle. And I had auditioned for an improv show, and I was butthurt a little bit that I didn't get picked, but I saw a performance recently, and I'm like, oh, I could have never fit in. I could have not done what they're doing. So they actually made the right choice, and it's a good thing I didn't get picked, because I don't think I could have done that. And I'm glad they saw that, even though I thought, oh, surely I'm going to get picked for this.
But you did find your way with a different group?
Well, this was a more recent experience. I found it's very common in improv troupes to be in multiple things at once. And I had one of my troupe mates, she's like, oh, just audition for everything. It's a good experience to audition for everything.
I don't agree.
I'm getting to the point where I don't agree, because I find myself the hope and the desire. And I had one audition. It wasn't me that did it, but somebody in my audition caused the end of the troupe.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that person's behavior in my audition hour caused so much tension with the group and discord that they disbanded. And I'm like, I think I'm done with auditioning for a while.
The vibes were off.
The vibes were way off. Yeah. So I think I took on her philosophy of audition for everything. It's good to have that experience into, no, I think it's okay for me to be a little more
picky,
selective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's good. Well, when I came to Austin, people were like, so you'll have to sign up for Kill Tony. And I was like, well, that's not really my vibe.
Yeah.
And they're like, but the exposure. And I'm like, okay, maybe, but I don't want to.
Yeah.
That's not I don't want to do that. I'm not going to.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to tell people that maybe stereotyping the Austin comedy scene just because that is so loud right now, which is fine. And I've had friends do well on that show and get, management out of it and tour, and they're good people. I have no problem with it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the right path for me.
Yeah.
But I moved to Austin thinking if I put myself in a comedy industry town, I'll have more opportunities than if I stay And I was right. And I've gotten to do incredible things in this business and continue to, and I haven't even touched that. So it's really a testament to how big and how creative the Austin comedy scene is, and how many opportunities there are. So I'm like, I want to set the record straight. The other thing I think is funny when you're talking about improv, one time I was doing a stand-up show here at Fallout, and the improv troupe like ended their show, and one of the women was like, "You're a stand-up?" She goes, "How do you go up there alone?" And I said, "How do you rely on others?" But I feel like stand-up and improv, they're very different mindsets. They're very different, like, art forms. It's really cool here at Fallout that there are these like fusion shows, and there's some overlap. I think it's like really special the way it's handled. But they're different. But yeah, I think people mean well when they're like, go for every opportunity. And I'm like, every opportunity is not for me. And I don't want to limit myself. I don't want to cut off an opportunity before it's had a chance to breathe. But also, there are some things that are not like things I would do. And like, that's an opportunity for someone. But it's not for me. That's over here, and I want to be over there. So... And I've been thinking about, I don't know if improv, the table. I don't know how improv, like how to relate it, but like with stand-up, I feel like when you start stand-up, like at open mics, there's sort of this mentality of like, you need to be able to kill in any room. And like, you don't say no to any spot because you're so desperate for stage time, because you're trying to do it, and the only way you can do it is to get up in front of people. So every comic has like stories like notorious, like terrible. I mean, I've done like, every Italian restaurant in New Jersey, biker bar in Delaware, coffee shop in Ethiopian restaurant in West Philly, and just insane places where maybe comedy shouldn't even be happening. But anywhere under the sun, you'll do it. And I was thinking today, like, yes, that's good because you do develop this sort of hardened exterior and this skill set and this sort of swagger to be like, I can do it anywhere, baby. But at what point are you kind of like, is that really true? Like, you need to do it anywhere for anyone. And like, people like different acts, and that's okay. And the more I can align myself with an act that's a similar style, and then people buy tickets because they want that, the better time we're all having. So I was just thinking about like how special it was for me with these 2 weekends I just did, not to jump ahead, but you've seen now my brain doesn't go in the linear way. But I was like, wow, like what a joy that I got to open weekends for 2 strong female headliners. And I got to just totally be myself and do my act without having any like weird vibes or feelings or editing or censoring or like nothing. I was just like totally myself, and it was totally a great hang. And I was like, and people loved it because they already bought a ticket to see a female headliner, and they're like, oh, cool, the opener, like, you're kind of like what I was looking for anyway. And I was like, this is so incredible. Please, prayers or manifest more like this. And it's like, I could go back to a back bar in Brooklyn and kill for sad people in the bar, but I've also already done that, and it's really nice to do these beautiful clubs. And I'd like to kind of continue to kind of carve my way, and then be like, my other friends may have different styles or do different things, and that's okay too. And like, that's cool as long as we're all doing like what we need to be doing and enjoying life. Who cares?
I think there's a wisdom too, because you said you started when you were already in your 30s or late 20s.
30s,
I think there's a wisdom that comes from that too. And if you've lived a life, you've, written papers for small universities to be in a library that no one will read. Except for maybe one graduate student, 10 yeyears from now. And they're like, oh my God, this is the source material I needed. That niche. When you've lived a life, you've already figured out a little bit of who you are. And you know that You don't have to do that show in order to be validated. You just have to stay true to yourself. And I think you can. I don't think anybody has captured it so perfectly as you did with the, at the end of the day, I want to be able to lie in bed and say, did my actions align with my values? And if they didn't, well, that sucks. But also, I'm going to stick to the actions that do align with my values and who I am.
Yeah.
And I don't have to do this just because I want, the million views. Because the thing is, with people that, and I have a love-hate relationship with what Kill Tony has done to the Austin comedy scene, only because there are so many people that come to Austin thinking, I'll just get on Kill Tony and then everything will work out. But they stand in those lines for 6 hours waiting to get on, to get pulled, and they could have been doing a couple of open mics to actually practice and be better at who they are. So, that's kind of a sacrifice. I don't think somebody should be making every single Monday night. The other thing is, yeah, great, you make it on. You have so much writing on how well that interview goes.
Yeah.
And if they sense weakness, you will have legions of worldwide fans who attack you. Mm-hmm. And then was it worth it at that point? And I know I couldn't handle it. My personality type would be, I'd just cry for the next year, knowing that, my interview didn't go that great. I'm still who I am. I'm okay with who I am, but that interview went so badly because they attacked.
Yeah.
And now I have, people across the world who are online warriors attacking me. And it's like, well, that's not what stand-up is.
Yeah. The other thing is, I think some people are signing up for Kill Tony out of a desperation of they want to do comedy so badly, and they see that as, it's literally branded as the golden ticket, right? Yeah. So it's enticing. Oh, if you can just get this, then you're golden. It's so, to someone who has no idea how to do it any other way, it probably looks like the best viable option.
Yes.
And for some people, it does profit for them. Yeah. So, whatever. For me, though, I'm trying to educate the younger comedians.
Good.
Some people are on my ass lately, where they're you're always at Cap City, they always book you.
That's a bad thing.
They're jealous and they want to know how. And I'm yeah, because I started at Helium Comedy Club in Philly, and I hung out there all the time, and they shout out Brad, one of the managers, saw I was hanging out and recommended me to host the open mic. And then I got to host the open mic. I was over the moon because I wanted to be on that stage so bad. Yeah. And then, I got to open some matinee shows. And then I realized the Philly comedy scene was actually small, and I moved here, and Helium Philly called Cap City and made sure I would be in or on their radar. Mm-hmm. And then since then, I've also made a ton of friends in the industry that regularly perform, and they invite me to open for them but I'm and not to brag, but I'm it's relationships.
Yep.
It's every time, this is Philly, old school, every time you perform at the club, thank you note, every staff by name, thank you for having me. Because someone was you're always at Cap City. I go, yeah, I guess I just send the best thank you notes. And they were I've never sent a thank you note. And I was well, you might want to start. Yeah. And then last night, this one comic was by hand. I said, yeah. Oh. I go, yeah, I'm the best calligrapher in town. Did you not know that? And I go, no, it's just emails. Send him a little email. Say thank you. He's what do I say? I was say, I had a great time. The staff was amazing. The shows were great. Thank you so much. Yeah. I hope to be back. Can't wait to be back. Thanks for all you do. It's not hard.
It's not hard. No.
And then, I don't know, I see it's a business. I'm generally I perform with people. I do well, and then they invite me back next time. And now I'm there's been enough repeat, rebook things where I'm oh, now I'm starting to see sort of a channel or lane or where things are opening up or growing. Yeah. But it's because of caring about relationships with people, and also, putting in work myself to grow.
Right.
But when people are just like, how do you get that? I'm like, what a lovely question. So,
yeah.
Or some people would be like, oh, like someone was like, oh, like you don't sign up for Kill Tony. And I was like, I want Moon Tower. Like that would mean a lot more to me.
Mm-hmm.
That's a goal of mine.
Yeah. That's the golden ticket.
Yeah, for someone that cares about quality and like the industry, and some people are like, there's no industry, it's all online. I'm like, there's different ways to look at it. Mm-hmm. And in some rubrics of looking at the world, you may be right. I'm not here to say I figured it out. I don't think any of us really understands this business.
Yeah.
But I know like what opportunities I'd like and which ones I'm dreaming for and working for. And, I also think with growth, like growing up and weathering more of life, you start to get a more healthy perspective of like external validation.
Yeah.
Some of it might just be personality type. I've always been very like intrinsically motivated of like, I do the things I do because I really like to do them. Mm-hmm. I've never been like, if I can just get this award and prize, like then I'm amazing. Like it's because I just feel like I've always been pretty like philosophical and like this is all just stuff of human life and kind of arbitrary like at the end of the day, but I've started to become a little bit more business minded as I look to actually try to pursue this more seriously. And I'm like, well, what opportunities would matter or are worth like saying like just admitting to myself of like, yeah, I'd really like that. That would be cool. And not like I need it or I'm nobody, or like I need it, it'll make me like not in an unhealthy way, but like, oh, I'd like that. Yeah. And then like saying it and then talking to other people and being like, if that's something I'm looking for, what are the things I can do now? Precisely. That'll get me a little closer to that. Yeah. And one of them was like, you should go in comedy. We haven't talked to Valerie. And so here we are.
All right.
You're part of my dream board. Manifesting.
Oh, well, it's definitely not,
You're on my like Candyland journey.
Yes, that I can be. And,
yeah.
I appreciate your episode 388. So
my goodness, cool number.
Yeah, it's a lot of people I've talked to, and I think your philosophy is really spot on to where anybody in the industry should think about, and also a reminder that there are no shortcuts. So,
I mean, what I think that sometimes these people that like do blow up really fast, sometimes I'm like, your star might burn like out quicker because like, do you really have the longevity? Yeah. Like the Kill Tony minute viral. And then it's like, some people can like get booked to headline off that, which is freaking insane. Yeah. But it's like, can you really sustain? But then I'm like, well, I don't know. It doesn't really matter. But I know I like quality and style. Yeah. And I recognize it in other people. Yeah. And you know what's also interesting? I can sense like a comedian's sensibilities in like what they talk about. Because sometimes I'll be working with other comics and they'll be like, your joke, your bit about this, like I've never thought of that. And like, have you thought about like tagging it with that? And I'm like, oh my God, that's brilliant. And those are my favorite people because I love jokes. Yeah. Like despite all the noise of this business and how brutal and hard it can be, I freaking love jokes. There's like writing a new joke and saying it on stage and it works. You could never put a price on that. It's so great. And like or like helping your friends too. So, but then other people, you'll be like, hey, how's it going? They're like, oh, like 3 of my clips are viral. And it's like, yeah, like that's great. But like, is that your goal? Because like don't get me wrong, I would love to have a viral clip. I would love to have a clip get 1 million views because it would allow me to do more stand-up. Yeah. Because I love it. Yeah. But not because I want millions of views because that's my goal. Yeah. So when that's their mark of success, that I'm like, we're not talking about the same thing. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I think maybe comics need to think of it in terms of, I sold out a room because I had this video that went viral, hit whatever views. But I sold out that room. I got people in the seats, and I was able to do my headlining set, and I got asked to come back. That's what the framing should be, not the, oh great, I had some social media.
I'm a social media star.
I'm social media. Oh, that's a whole thing.
It's weird. I will read bios for comics at the club because I keep rewriting
Social
mine.
media.
It's really hard to write a bio.
And you're a writer.
I know. And it's like, are you clever and cute with it, or do you just list out some credits? I don't even really have a lot of like credits.
Yeah.
I do work in clubs, but I don't have like TV credits.
Yeah.
So what do you say? And some of them are just like, had a clip that amassed 1 billion views, and I was like, that's a credit now?
Right.
Like, what? So I don't know, but
I think it's what you do with it. Like Leah Ruddick, I don't know if that's a name you're familiar with. She, social media sensation, but she turned it into like a viable comedy career. She is hilarious.
Yeah.
So I think it's what you do with it, just like what you do with Kill Tony, what you do with anything that the Funny AF crew.
Yeah.
It's what you do with it. And I see because I watched part of that show until I got pissed off at Kevin Hart. But whatever. Because I had some people that I have one person that I've interviewed before that was on the show, so I was super excited to watch it.
Wow.
And of course I knew, two people. I knew Caleb and I knew Macy Isaacs. And so I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to watch the show. And then Kevin did his stupid bullshit. And so I haven't watched the rest, even though I love Ron. Anyway, all that to say is the end goal isn't that pop. It's like you were saying.
It allows you to do it.
Yeah. Me winning some prize or accolade isn't, the thing, because it's what I did to build up to that thing that then allows me to keep building up to the next token thing. And it's all those skills that I'm building up along the way that are going to make me where I want to be.
Yeah. I had a really good convo with like a Gen Z manager friend, and we were at a coffee shop, fortune teller in South Austin, pretty cool spot.
Neat.
And she was like, you need to be posting to TikTok every day. She's like, give me your phone, you need to be posting. And I was like, no, you don't understand, I'm like an artist and like strange, like a weird girl, and I'm not like a TikTok, I'm not like tapping on products, I'm like being psycho, like that's not me. And she goes, it's free. She's like, you're not running ads, you can put your face on the internet every day, and all you need to do is do it. And if you do it consistently, you're going to get more. And I was like, oh. And I'm like, but I don't like to do it because I like to do stand-up comedy on a stage where I perform with people. Yeah. And she goes, yes, but if you do this, then you'll get to do that more. And I said, oh. So now I've been posting to my TikTok nearly every day. Because someone finally explained it to me in a way that didn't make the rebel creative, like, F you, you don't know me. Yeah. Which I also have learned, I think it's really important to not just to talk and hang out with other comics, but talk and hang out and listen to producers and managers, because they see the business differently than we do, and their perspective is very valuable. Yeah. Because we all are limited by our own view. Yeah. And I think comics, when we all get together, we can maybe be like, we can compound it. Yeah. And it's really helpful. It's almost like if you've written a book and then you have an editor look at it and they kind of chop it up and you're like, oh, wow. Yeah. I thought chapter 3 was really cool, but they're saying to just cut it out. And like, okay, you kind of need someone to look at it more objectively and work on it with precision. Yeah. It's very hard to do when it's literally your first and last name and you talking about your life. It's like you can't really get outside yourself to look at it. But I'm like, I needed someone else to kind of kick my ass a little and be like, this is what it looks like to a booker. Like, this is what your persona or brand or material looks like in its current state. I know you are capable of all kinds of more, but like you're gonna need to like ramp up the marketing. Yeah. Respectfully and like now. And I was like, yeah, they're right. Yeah. So I've been working on that more, and not in a like boo-hoo, like, this sucks. We have a lot of comics are like, so we have to be posting.
Yeah.
And I don't want to look at it that way, because then it'll be a chore and then it'll be distasteful. But I'm really embracing this growth mindset of where, like, if I consistently post twice a week or whatever, then I will be able to do the thing I like more. The thing that is the most fun thing, the thing I've sacrificed a lot of time, energy, and money and thrown myself into very difficult situations and purposefully done so I can do this, that thing, more of that thing will happen. So then it's like, okay, I finally got my head on straight where I'm like, okay, this is businessy marketing thing, which is fine. It's not the main thing. The main thing is the self and the creative and the growth and your life and your morals and your friends and everything. And then performing, which is irreplaceable and the best. But this is another side thing to be doing. So I'm working on that more. And then sometimes I'm like, why didn't I like do it sooner? But I'm like, I just, you got to figure it out as you go. Yeah. And sometimes I'm like, I'm glad I didn't post rampantly 2 years ago when everyone said you had to, because like I wasn't really ready to put out that amount of material yet. And I'm ready now. Like I just did the improv and they were like, here's a Dropbox of your 5 shows. And I'm like, this is so much valuable material. Yeah. No, I have to sit down and chop it up and edit it and caption it, which is kind of a pain. But it's also like someone's like kind of lobbing you like a wiffle ball and they're like, here you go. I'm like, I'd be crazy to not hit it, you know? So it's like right there. So, okay. And then I'm like, oh, now I'm actually in situations where I'm getting quality material products that I can then put out and then kind of keep it going. Yeah. But I see when I do the clips now, I think of them as more like the editor brain. I'm like, that's editor. And then this is like real me. Yeah. But it's okay. It's just a little, happy chore.
Yeah, it's figuring out how to sell yourself.
Yeah.
In reasonable ways.
Because I'm like, right now, what I really want to do also is, it's like a dream that I get to open for some of these headliners that I really love, and we're like becoming friends, and we've like, it's so cool. Yeah. But I also am like, oh, you don't want to just be like so-and-so's opener. And I don't want to be like relying on them to be like, make my career. Like, so some of my friends were like, you should like try to headline some small rooms. And I was like, who would have me? I have like 2,000 Instagram followers. I'm like a normal person about town. Like I don't, and they're like, but you're good. And actually, this is so funny to me. I was hanging out with my friend Jeff, he's a comic here. And I was like, just in my head one day, I was like, you don't understand, Jeff. I need to get to the next level of comedy. And I think I need to be hotter. And then he goes, I think you just need to send a few emails. And we were just laughing. But then we had a good laugh. But then he's like, no, like these are like rooms where like he's like, just be like, hey, would you give me an off night? I'm flexible on dates. Yeah. He's like, you'd be surprised. They might say yeah. Yeah. And I was like, you think like I could do like these? And he's like, yeah. I know you could. Yeah. I'm like, oh. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to really try to push ahead and like ask for the next things, even though, do I feel ready? I don't know. I'll be ready by the time I get there, or I'll rise to the occasion. And I really want to kind of be like a little bit more prospecting of like, I want that thing that seems too far in the horizon, but I want that. And I'm going to tell people I want that. And if they say, okay, then I'm going to go do that. And then it's the Wild West, baby. Yeah. So I'm hoping to book out some of my first headlining shows soon. That's a goal. Nice. Yeah. Of course, we'll see what kicks back. I might be like, oh, I got so many no's. So we'll see.
But there's going to be that yes.
Yeah, and it'll probably be the one I never would have thought of. So I'm interested to see how it's all going to play. But what a good place to be in.
Yeah. My gosh, who wouldn't want to surround themselves with somebody positive like you?
Oh,
I mean,
so
it
nice.
seems kind of a no-brainer that Sophie would invite you for shows.
She is incredible.
She's so
She really
fun.
changed my perspective on. Her voice is so strong, but also so uncompromisingly.
Yes. She's aligned with you in that regard.
Yeah. Yeah, she's really, really incredible. I was trying to express to her, I'm like, oh, it's like, you really inspired me to see like a female comedian, and so I could like see how I could like be myself. And there's just so many like loud bros in comedy. Like I didn't really know I could be myself. I was just like, it's when you're trying to talk to the cool older girl at school and you're like, I just love your style and like that we can hang out. It's like, but I was like clunking through this, and she was like, oh, she goes, my whole life is for women and girls, and men can come to my shows if they want to. She goes, no, they can come if they'd like. And I was just like, brain exploded, brain emoji exploded. Yeah. And I was like, oh, it just like clicked. I was like, oh, that's why what I love about her and why her act is like, I cannot take my eyes off her, and I love it. It's because she is doing her own thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, if I had stayed in Philly, I would be still trying to be like one of the boys. Yeah. And now I'm like, I just need to be me.
Yeah.
And did I talk about my geographical reorientation?
No.
So I don't know if this would be relevant to anyone else, but it's my life and I think it's interesting. So like when I left Philly, I was like, I bet if I go to Texas, if I go to Austin, I'll get to do comedy like all the time. And then I'll like figure out how to be good at comedy. And then I can like go back to Philly and New York, and then I can like show them I'm good, and I can like do the clubs there. And then I can like do comedy there. And that was like my only like thoughts.
Yeah.
And then I came here and I was like, oh wow, have these friends now that are headliners in like LA and Nashville, and I'm opening for Sophie in Albuquerque and Phoenix. And I was like, oh, I'm here now. And I feel like my compass was kind of like spinning. When I moved here, I was just like so disoriented. I was like, how does anything work? Which way is up? Which way is down? Which side of the river am I on? You know, do I have enough money to pay my bills? Okay. It was just like everything's like recalibrating. I'm like, oh shit. My hair's a mess. I can't do it in the humidity. I'm cold opening in every club. I'm like sweating. I'm waking up every day to bad photos of me tagged on Instagram going, I got to get it together. You know, I have like no clothes because I've moved here with whatever was in my car. Like psycho. The year of recalibration. But now I'm like, oh, it was literally, I feel like there was like a compass spinning, and now it's just like, oh, you know which way directions are, and like you're here. And I'm like, oh, I'm an Austin comic, and I'm like opening like across like the Southwest now. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, I could go back to Philly or New York, but I don't have to. I can go on the road and do cities all over the country with my friends. Yeah. And I can start to try to book my own stuff, and I can like make cool projects here. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, the reason I had that is just because that's all I knew. I was like, I guess that's where like comedy is, but comedy is much bigger than I thought. So I'm like, I'm so glad I broke out of the like small pond and even larger the East Coast, because I just see how big our country is and how big the industry is. And then I'm like, look at people that start to do well headlining the country, then they're headlining in Europe. And I'm like, dream bigger, you know? Like the world is yours. So it's like, it's exciting. And I'm so glad I moved here. And even just locally seeing more of Texas, like just going up to Fort Worth and going down to San Antonio to the Riot and going over to Houston, and just getting Texas itself is not a monolith. Texas is really varied in its vibes. So there's just still so much to do. And I'm like, I'm here for a while, man. Yay! So I love Austin comedy, and it's awesome.
Yeah. Amazing. This has been a great conversation.
Yeah.
I'm going to start wrapping us up, but before we do wrap up, is there anything you haven't shared that you want people to know about you?
Wow. Huh. I don't.
You don't have to. I'm just,
Anything I want people to know? I don't know. I think I shared a lot.
Great philosophies. I think people
Thank you.
Yeah.
I do love philosophy. One time I was hanging out with my friend Dana at the beach, and he was a philosophy major, and I was kind of in like a mildly depressed era, and I was mad that I like had no money, and I was like, philosophy is not even useful. And he goes, wait a minute. We were standing in the waves. We were at the Jersey Shore, but I remember like it was the most beautiful day, and there's just waves and people, and it looked like a painting, and he just started talking about like the most prominent, like beautiful, like illustrative ideas of philosophy, like specifically French philosophy, and like laying them out for me. And I was like, this is like cinema. And I was like, all right, you're right. Philosophy is useful. So, yeah, maybe sometimes I don't feel like I fit in the Austin scene for the more kind of dumb bro. But I can't be that, nor do I want to. So I guess right now I'm kind of like, I'm sort of differentiating by being myself. And some people are like, you look like someone last night was like, you look like a boy mom. I said, yeah. I go, yeah, my sons have lacrosse. And I just like walked away. I was like, I don't. What, because I have a button down on? Why don't you all class it up? You look like trash.
Wow, throwing down.
So yeah, I'm going to be wearing button downs and reading philosophy books, writing my memoir by the pool. And I'm going to be a comedian like this town has never seen. For better or worse.
All right. Well, let's tackle the closing question.
Oh, gosh.
It's one word to describe your future.
Oh, wow. The word that came to my mind is infinite, which is crazy because I'm sorry to bring this up, we are all going to die.
Yeah.
But I do feel, I would say infinite or limitless. I just feel like there is so much uncharted. I just feel like it's incredible what may lie ahead. I feel like, yes. Well, something like that. Yeah.
I like it.
Thank
I think
you.
It's good for you too.
My next show will be in space. So.
Okay.
No. Oh, that's an interesting question.
Be expensive.
This
tickets.
was cool too.
Yeah, it's a really fun game. Okay, well, that is a wrap on Comedy Wham Presents Gretchen Dietz. Gretchen, tell us where people can find you on social media.
Oh, yes.
Clearly, you're on TikTok now. And promote any upcoming shows or events that you want people to know about.
Yes, I'm on TikTok due to the influence of my friend Dorothy Lowenstein, who kicked my ass. I'm on TikTok at Gretchen Dietz, Instagram at Gretchen Dietz _ YouTube. I'm throwing up some longer sets on there. I believe that is also at Gretchen Dietz. Follow the social media for more dates. Summer's a little slow, but it looks like I'll have a vibrant fall opening for more folks that I'm on tour with, and then also manifesting my first headlining shows. So stay tuned. Maybe by the time this drops, we'll be able to announce something. We'll see.
Exciting. And writing your memoir.
Yeah, now that I told you publicly, I have to do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. Well, we hope you've enjoyed learning about how Gretchen got to be the comedic genius that you heard today, just as much as I have. This has been Comedy Wham Presents Gretchen Dietz. I'm Valerie, and that's been funny. Thank you, Gretchen.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me. So fun.
Yay.